Hey y'all, I'm Allie. Welcome to Little Hill Homestead. So, if you follow TikTok or Instagram or any of the viral trends, McCormick Spice Company was releasing, this was a couple months ago, something called finishing sugars. And they were going to be in all kinds of like Christmas and fall flavors. Problem is, I don't think that they realized how big they were going to go. And so they did not make enough of them. They are sold out everywhere, literally impossible to get a hold of. And if you do, they are extremely expensive now. So McCormick's was nice enough on their website to include all the ingredients in every single one of the finishing sugars. There are 6 in total. So I read those ingredients and I mimicked them and I made dupes for you guys. So today I'm going to be showing you all 6 of these using ingredients that you can get from Walmart and Dollar General, believe it or not. You can get everything at Walmart. We just had Dollar General closer to me when I ran. But we're going to be making candy cane or like a peppermint, gingerbread spice, white frosting, hot cocoa, English toffee, and salted caramel. We're going to be making all 6 of them for you guys. We have tested them. They're awesome. What do you use them for? That was another question that like a lot of people are like, what do you use finishing sugars for? So you can sprinkle them on top of like hot cocos and lattes and things like that. Muffins, you can put them on cakes and cookies. You could put, this was the one that I thought was kind of interesting. Use a lime and rim your cup, and you can dip your cocktails for the season in like a sugared rim. Anyways, think of like things you want just a little cute, pretty sprinkle of sugar on top of, and this is your go. But yeah, like cinnamon rolls, you could put the caramel one on there. Like think outside the box. You could get really creative. So today I'm going to show you all 6 of these. Are you guys ready for this? If this video gets a little bit long, I apologize. I didn't really want to break it up into 6 little videos. I just thought we'll just make all of them at once, right? So we usually make things from scratch. I like to break things down and make things in our kitchen. But I figured not everybody has the capability or the want to make toffee and caramel and things like that. So I'm using store-bought ingredients for most of these just to make it easier. Everybody needs a little grace at the holidays, right? First one we're going to make is going to be candy cane, you guys. So like I said, Walmart picked up some of these little peppermint candy canes. I took 3 of these and I ran them through my spice grinder. You guys can get these a lot of times at Goodwill or thrift stores. They sell these for reasonable. You have them in your cabinet that you're not using. You can also use like the Magic Bullet blender. Those work well too for this. So a few of these, if you don't have a machine that will break down candy, you can put them in a bag and just beat the heck out of them with like a rolling pin. You really want a little bit finer consistency. So we did ours in the spice grinder. So for this one, this is probably one of the easier ones of the thing. So all of them are going to have this Turbinado, cane sugar. It's like a coarse, let me see it. It's a little bit more of a coarse sugar. I got a big old thing of this from, I think it was Walmart. They were the only ones local to me that carried it. So I got that. And the first thing you need for this guy is a 1/4 cup of this sugar. This is for finishing sugar. You want a coarser sugar so that when you put it on there, you can kind of see it. You don't want it to just disintegrate if it's kind of warm or moist, because it will just dissolve into it. So you want something that's a little bit coarser. So we have a 1/4 cup of that. And then to that, this is 3 candy canes or a 1/4 cup of candy cane that we ran through the spice grinder. And it's literally candy cane powder at this point. It's tastes like candy cane. You get all the vibes from it. And it gives it a little bit of a pink hue, which, come on, that's pretty, right? You just stir it together. It got a few clumps, so I'm just going to use the back of my spoon. Try not to put that too close to the mic for you guys, but I'm just going to use the back of the spoon to break those apart just a tiny bit. Now, if you want to add, if you're like, I want it to be intense peppermint, just not a hint of peppermint, you can add a tiny bit of peppermint extract. I like to put it on my spoon. I'm literally just a couple drops, you guys. I don't want much because you don't want moisture in here. So I'm just going to put a few, literally a couple drops, and stir that together. It's going to cause some clumping. Again, use the back of your spoon to kind of mix it around to get it incorporated. You don't want it to be wet or it will wet your ingredients. So There's a reason why this one went first, so we can let it dry a little bit before we put it into our container. If it clumps too much, just run it again through your little magic bullet or your spice grinder. Kind of clumped on my spoon a little bit. Let me get that off there. But overall, just use the back of your spoon. If you don't want the intense peppermint, you can just stick with candy canes. And that's it for that one, you guys. It becomes this pretty pink. I'm going to continue to squish these down. But it becomes this beautiful pink candy cane. Like, wouldn't that be so pretty? If you want to add a couple drops of red food coloring to kind of brighten it up, you can do that as well. Up to you. Maybe even like a little beet powder or something like that would kind of incorporate into it. I am going to run this one really quickly through my coffee grinder or through a blender, just kind of break it up a tiny bit before I put it in a jar. But that's your peppermint or your candy cane. So how easy was that? Plus you get all the leftover you get leftover candy canes. It makes a huge batch, you guys. Like, this is going to probably fill 2 of our little jars. The next one we're going to make is going to be gingerbread spice. I thought this one would be really good on like a latte in the morning. Just that overall vibe this time of year with the spices and stuff. Jam, right? You can also sprinkle it on your gingerbread cookies just to give them a little like texture on the top. That sugar is going to give it like a little different mouth feel. So we need a 1/4 cup of brown, that sugar doesn't fit in there. We need a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Brown sugar is just literally just white sugar and molasses. It's super easy to make. We have a video on the channel that shows if you haven't seen it yet. You can use store-bought too, totally fine. Just you can make it for a whole lot less. 1/4 cup of brown sugar going in. Where's my lid? To that, we need a 1/4 cup of the coarse sugar. I'll try to link this one below. I'll see if I can find it. But I know it's from Walmart. We got a 1/4 cup of that going in. I like to kind of just smash that together, the back of my spoon again, to start getting it kind of incorporated before we add our spices into it. Okay, for our spices, think gingerbread. For all these, think of what they're actually trying to mimic, right? So candy cane, peppermint. So this one for gingerbread, of course you're going to use ginger, but usually in gingerbread there's gingerbread and cinnamon and allspice and nutmeg. So those are the spices that we are going to go with. So I have them all sitting over here. The first thing we need, well, I'll do nutmeg last, is cinnamon. I'm going to use 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. This is a 1 teaspoon measuring thing, and I kind of just get close. The next thing we need is our ginger. Ginger is kind of spicy. It can get a little overpowering, so you actually only need 1/4 teaspoon of this. Even though it's like our main flavor that we want, you don't want it to be like too overpowering. You want it to kind of be a nice subtle hint. Allspice is good because it adds kind of like something like unexpected. It's only 1/8 teaspoon, so I'm just going to do a couple shakes. And then the last thing is nutmeg. It's 1/8 teaspoon of that as well. Oh, I'm missing my top. So for this one, you're just going to use your spoon. Like I said, if you want to run it through like your magic bullet to get it all really evenly distributed, you totally can. But that is it, you guys. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here as I'm doing this. But there you go. There's your coarse kind of sugar. That on like some kind of like Bailey's kind of thing, or like I was saying, over your coffees. Not gonna stink. That's gingerbread spice. How easy is that? The next one, actually I'm going to do that one later because I need my cutting board for that one. The next one we're going to do is hot cocoa. This one, over hot cocoa, I was thinking on cookies, this one actually would be really good. So you need 1/2 cup of our coarse sugar for this guy. I don't want to go too fast, but I keep trying to put the lid on that, knowing that I'm going to need it for every single one of these. So, obviously, when you think hot cocoa, have you ever made hot cocoa from scratch? If you haven't, We do have recipes on the channel for it. We have a shelf-stable version, and then we have regular old, stovetop. But for hot cocoa, the biggest thing you need is cocoa powder. It always has sugar. It typically will have either like vanilla or a pinch of salt. It's got like the same ingredients over and over. We're just going to mimic that in a bowl. So I'm doing 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder. This is a Dutch cocoa powder. It's the same as if you bought like Hershey's or, any cocoa powder. It's just the one that we prefer. Like I said, a pinch of salt does really well with sugary things to kind of bring out the sweetness. So I'm just doing a little bit of that. Usually you would add vanilla extract, and you can add vanilla extract kind of like we did with the peppermint. We also on our channel showed you guys how to make vanilla sugar. It's just vanilla beans and sugar. So we're going to be using that. I'll link that video below for you guys just to be sure. If you want to see it, you totally can. How much of this do you need? I'm going to do a tablespoon of it. If you don't have vanilla sugar, like I said, just kind of put a little bit of vanilla extract over it, and you kind of just can stir it in. Costco has vanilla beans right now. You get 20 beans for $9.99, and you can make a boatload of this sugar. It doesn't take too long to sit and infuse in it, so you would have it for sure by Christmas. We did our pinch of salt. We got our cocoa powder. We got our vanilla sugar. The other thing that when you drink hot chocolate that sticks out is milk, right? A lot of people like the creaminess of it. So we are going to be using some powdered milk. I use this for our coffee creamers on the channel. This is the one we get because it's a higher fat content. You get this big old jug from Sam's Club, actually, and it's cheap. You can use whatever powdered milk you've got. I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of that. You don't need a lot. I just wanted enough to add a little creaminess to it. And that's it, you guys. I'm just going to stir that together, and that one is done. 1 and done. No, actually, we're on 3, but it's okay. By the way, if you're new to our channel, if you hit the button below that says description, it'll drop down, and it will have every single one of these written out for you. So you don't have to sit here and write it out. You can take screenshots. We are working on, hopefully in 2025, including a blog into our stuff, so you guys have a place you can go and see our recipes and maybe pin them so you have a Pinterest board. That's what I do. So I was like, yeah, I need that in my life. So that is our, what is this one? Hot cocoa. That's our hot chocolate version. Like I said, I'm going to save the white frosting for last because I have to cut on a cutting board. So the next one we're going to do is English toffee. So for English toffee, you can't really find, well, I was going to make it from scratch, but I figured not everybody wants to do that. So I bought butterscotch discs from Dollar General. It was $1.25 for this whole bag. I needed I think I needed 8 of these by the time I broke it down. So the difference between, caramel is made without butter. Toffee and butterscotch both include butter. So they're very similar ingredients. But the way you cook it down and stuff, butterscotch and toffee are very, very close in flavor. I couldn't find a toffee candy that wasn't chocolate coated. So this is the route we went, and it worked really well. So I have 1/4 cup of our butterscotch powder. So when you blend those up, it literally turns into a powder. It gets a little crunchy from the air. It's not a big deal. It's just powdery though. So I have 1/4 cup of that going in. To that, we are going to add 1/4 cup of our coarse sugar. You guys are seeing a theme here. We're going to do a couple tablespoons of brown sugar. That's going to help bring in that like toffee, deep kind of flavor that toffee gets. Just a couple of those. Because we have a lot of sugar going in this one already, but it adds just a little hint of flavor. What I love about these two is like, I know what's in them. If I bought the McCormick's, I don't know exactly what ingredients they're using. Not that me using a butterscotch disc is like the best, healthiest option. But I know what's in these. And so I feel good about eating them, even though they're pretty much sugar. And giving them to friends as gifts and stuff like that. Okay, so we've got that. We need a pinch of salt. You can use sea salt. I just have some regular old table salt. I'm just throwing that in because it does well with it, not being overwhelming. Okay, the next thing we need is some milk. Again, we're using our powdered milk. We want 1 teaspoon of powdered milk going into the barrel. And then the last thing for this guy, I get this from Azure Standard. It is their buttermilk powder. You can get buttermilk powder pretty much anywhere. Kroger has it. You can get Bob's Red Mill has their version. That one's really good. So any buttermilk powder. I just like the one from Azure because I get a bunch. We use it in a lot of recipes like our homemade ranch. 2 teaspoons of our buttermilk powder going in. We are going to use that in 1 or maybe 2 of our other ones too. So yeah, we're using it in 2 of our other ones too. So that is it, you guys. You would just kind of mush this together. Like when I say mush, that's not exactly the nicest way to say stir. Incorporate all your ingredients together. Again, the ones with the candies, I am going to run really, really quickly through either my blender or my magic bullet to really get all the clumps incorporated into the rest of your ingredients. But that's our English toffee. Should I be showing you guys? It has a beautiful, like, you can see the milk powder that's in it, but it still has a really coarse sugar. That's the English toffee. I didn't show you the hot chocolate either, did I? You can see the cocoa powder in that one. If you find that any of these are too powdery and you want them to be dulled down a little bit, you could add like literally a couple drops of either an extract is going to calm it down, or a couple drops of an oil will calm that down and get it all to really stick together versus being powdery. I don't mind them being just a little bit powdery. It's just fine with me. The last one, and I think this is the one that everybody was so upset that they did not make enough of, is salted caramel. I know salted caramel, super, super on trend. Have you guys seen our Coffee Mate dupe for caramel? I can't get enough of it. I keep drinking it. But by the way, hint, hint, if you're ever like, did Little Hill Homestead make a video on blah? Go to your search bar for any YouTube video at the very, very top and type in Little Hill Homestead and whatever it is you are looking for. We are at like almost 400 videos, I think, at this point. We have something for almost everything. If you don't find something, email me or just comment below and we will make it for you. We try to get all you guys, like all your ideas on the page. So, salted caramel. These are caramel hard candies. It was $1.25 for the bag, and 1 bag was too much to make this recipe. So you need, I think it was like 12 little candies, or 10 little candies was enough for this recipe. So less than $1 for our caramel. There's other ways to make like caramel powder, but this just was the easiest way, was to use a candied version. So all good, right? All right, so I'm gonna put, it's 1/4 of a cup in total for our little caramel candies. Who doesn't love Werther's? Like, there's no nostalgic. My great granny, she used to keep them at her house all the time. She also had like little coffee candies. Those were bomb too. But anyways, we've got our caramel candy. We need 1/4 of a cup again of our coarse sugar. Pinch of salt again. If you want a coarser salt, you can again, but I'm just doing just a good little pinch. Again, we need milk powder and butter powder. That's gonna give it that like kind of creamy caramely idea that we're going for. So I need 1 teaspoon of our milk powder and 2 teaspoons again of our buttermilk powder. That's it, you guys. Stir it together. Again, if you want to run it through your little Ninja Bullet or your blender or your coffee grinder, you totally can. I love this stuff because it packs a pretty good punch. All of them do. They pack a pretty good punch of flavor. And so when you sprinkle it on something, they really do have an impact. It's not like you're just not going to taste it. You will taste it. So this one, I'm thinking like tops of cinnamon rolls definitely would be good. This one smells like phenomenal. You can really smell the like candied caramel vibe that's going on. So that is what you end up with. You can see like the powdered candy in there, but when you eat it, you're gonna go, oh my gosh, what is that? It's Werther's Originals. Don't get the soft Werther's, you need to get the hard ones. So make sure you get the hard ones. They have a million flavors. Make sure you get just the original. caramel hard candies, those ones. I mean, if you have a granny around, she probably has some in her purse. Go look there too. The last one we're gonna do, guys, and I have now made a giant mess, so let me get my cutting board. The last one we're gonna do is called white frosting. It's like a buttercream type of vibe. So I was telling you guys we made the vanilla sugar for the channel a while ago. It's literally sugar and vanilla beans. You let it sit and it infuses into the sugar and makes like this amazing concoction. Since a lot of you guys probably don't have vanilla sugar, I'm gonna show you how we make it for quick things like this. So we have some vanilla beans. These ones are from Amazon, like I was saying. I'll link them below, but also Costco. If you have one in your area, they sell them during the holidays, and they're definitely worth buying now because they will last in your, you know, closet or wherever you store stuff. So we got one vanilla bean right here. Vanilla beans, these ones are a little bit dry just because they're getting a little older, but you kind of want to, for this one, we're going to kind of cut it in half and try to scrape the beans out of it. I should have gotten one of my fresh ones out. It would have been easier, but that's okay. Sorry, I have to be super intense not to cut myself. So when you get a vanilla bean, there we go. You're going to be able to open it. And using the back of your knife, you can go in and scrape all those little vanilla beans out of the pod. You can eat the vanilla beans. So don't get vanilla beans from Kroger or places like that because you literally get like 2 for $10. They're really, really overpriced. So make sure you shop around for them. Like I said, I'll put a link below. This is not the best knife for this. But if you keep scraping, you get all the little vanilla beans out your bean. I should have done this before, but it's okay. Oh gosh, this bean is a little bit dry, but that's okay. All right, we're gonna pretend that Allie got all the beans out. You're gonna put those little vanilla beans into your bowl. Just make sure you don't get any of the vanilla pod for this one because you don't really want to eat it and you probably don't want to dig around it. I will finish cleaning out the vanilla bean though after this to make sure that it get all that flavor because you don't, they're prime. You pay a lot of money for vanilla beans. To that, 1/4 of a cup of our coarse sugar is going in. And then for frosting, obviously it's vanilla and it has some sweetness to it. So we've got that part going on. But it usually has some kind of like butter or milk or something to give it creaminess. So I didn't want to invest in butter powder because I don't really use it. So we're going to use buttermilk powder because I did already have that. So to this we are going to add, how much did I end up? 1 teaspoon, you guys. 1 teaspoon of buttermilk powder going into the mix. That's just going to give it that like creaminess that butter usually offers your frostings. And then you're just going to stir it up, get all those little vanilla beans. Like I said, off camera we'll get the rest of those and get them put into this. But you can already smell that vanilla coming off. If you do not have vanilla beans, you can use vanilla extract the same way we did the peppermint in our original one. You would just put the sugar, put your milk or buttermilk, and then just put maybe, it's literally probably like 1/8 of a teaspoon of vanilla extract. You're just going to put that over that and make sure it stirs. Then let it sit out for probably 12 hours until you know it's really good and dry and it's burned off. So that you don't have moisture going into our jars when we get to that point. So I am going to run and put the ones that ended up kind of clumpy. So our candy cane ended up with some clumps in it. They're not bad, but I don't want that in our final. So I'm gonna run them through my Ninja Bullet just to break down. So the English toffee, the caramel, and the candy cane, all the ones that end up having candy in them, those are the ones I'm gonna run and strain through just to get some of those clumps broken up. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna scrape my vanilla bean and then I'll be back to show you how we are going to package these up to gift out. There you guys go. I think we made it through, but I'll be right back. I'm gonna go pulse those. I'll be right back. Guys, I went ahead and I blended a couple of them just in my little magic bullet just to kind of incorporate them a little bit better so we don't get funky clumps of some of the ingredients, the way they were working. And then I have these little jars. I got these ones from Amazon. We actually used them in our conversion van build out. And then on the end of our cabinet over here, we have a spice rack with these. I got them from Amazon. I'll look and try to link them below. But I did see at Dollar General, if you have one local to you, the local Dollar General, if you do have one, in the Christmas area, they had these cute little glass jars with little wooden like bamboo tops that would hook on. They kind of remind me of the ball jar tops that we use on our spice rack. And they were 2 for $3. And I thought I should have grabbed them, but I didn't really want to spend $9 more on this project for this. So what I did was use the ones that I had left over. And then I used our little jar label maker that I keep telling you guys about, the Mimo, you know what I'm talking about. It's in our Amazon storefront. I made labels for the tops of each one of them with which flavor they're going to be. And we're just going to put them into our containers. So the candy cane loosened right back up very, very nicely. I'm trying to see how much we're going to end up with. I feel like this is going to make a couple jars. But, or at least one jar to gift and one for yourself, right? You gotta have it for yourself. No, looks like it'll make one jar. That's okay. I got enough stuff to make more. It's like exactly one jar. All right, there we go. There's our peppermint. These come with, where'd it go? These little tops. I just pop them on top of it. Then the person can use it as a pour or a shake. Then when you go to use it, it just shakes right out. Like I said, I'm just going to do that to all of our mixes and get them into the jars that I have labeled for each one. In between each one, I will wipe this down with just a paper towel so you don't get the flavor of peppermint in with your hot cocoa, although that wouldn't be bad. So let me go get these all poured into the right container, and then I'll show you the final result, the best way to gift it, that kind of stuff. So hold on. I got all of our flavors in their respective jars with the label on top. So I like to, through the year, buy little baskets and things from thrift stores so that when I go to gift giving time, I've only spent like $1 on a cute little basket. The other thing I like to get from thrift stores, and we actually use these in our house instead of napkins, are fabric napkins. You can use just a piece of fabric as well. So I just kind of folded that and tucked it in our little basket. Then I'm just going to set our little finishing sugars right in our little basket. If you want to do a bigger basket, include like some cocoa mix in a cup or something like that, you totally can. I just thought this would be kind of cute. Then I always buy ribbon after Christmas, and we have a tub that we store it in. So when it comes to gift giving, I don't have to spend a ton of money on cute bows and ribbon and stuff like that because I bought it the year before. So I'm just going to take some ribbon and tie a cute little bow on top of this. If you know, like, you don't want to give all 6 of these to one person, like give a couple of them. And like I was saying, include maybe a cup, also great from thrift stores. Include, I don't know, something that you think would go well with it. If they're a baker, maybe put a little cute spatula and some directions on how to use these, maybe with a little recipe card, something along those lines. I like to just tuck your ribbon so that it looks kind of cute. Trim up this side as well. I like to do little V's on the end of my ribbon. I think it looks cute. So just cut a notch. Then save that ribbon because it's still enough for a whole nother gift basket for somebody else. And then how cute is that? Like, wouldn't that be a cute little gift? Throw a little gift tag on here that says what they are, what they're for. And like, it looks like you spent all this time. How much time did we actually spend? If you did a bulk of these or whatever, it'd be a little easier. You can also put these in little mason jars. That would be cute too. But I just think I would love to get this as a little gift. The other thing, if you work in an office, this is what I used to do because you can't afford to buy a gift for every single person you work with, right? So I would do something like this in a tray of cookies and I would take it in and put it next to the coffee pot. Then everybody at work got to enjoy it as like an office gift. We did different flavored coffees, stuff like this, cookies. We actually would do the whole week before Christmas, we would bring cookies in every single day. And then each morning I would just bring in a fresh tray of them. That was like our signature thing everywhere I've ever worked. But I just think this would be so cute next to the coffee pot. gift it to somebody. That's all, you guys. That's all I'm saying. But go make the finishing sugars. Let me know what you guys think of them. Honestly, my very favorites. Oh, I meant to tell you one thing. The white frosting, which is like the vanilla one, I did go ahead and leave the vanilla beans. They're hard to see because they're buried in the middle. But the outside of the beans, I did go ahead and put those in here so that the vanilla flavor can continue to infuse into it. That's the only thing that I did off camera that I forgot to include in the video. But the salted caramel and the English toffee are kind of similar, but they're both phenomenal. The gingerbread is really, really good. You know what? There's not one that I don't like. The white frosting is the most basic because it's kind of just vanilla. But they're all really, really good. Anyways, if you hit the description button below, all the recipes will be typed out for you guys. And if you guys make these and give them to somebody, let me know what you think or they think. We'd appreciate your feedback. Anyways, thanks for watching, you guys. Appreciate you as always.